You can't beat a bit of nostalgia, especially when you get to our age. So the Subaru Levorg GT took us back to the days of steam trains and when rally cars looked like the models they were based on. The Levorg is the modern incarnation of the sporty Subaru, but it's a medium estate car with 522 liters of boot space with the rear seats in place and 1,446 liters with them folded, bigger than many rivals. It's quite a decent car to drive, maybe a bit firm for our old bones on some country roads but more bearable on the smoother black stuff, of which there is still some to be found. There's only one engine offered in the UK Levorg, a 1.6-litre petrol, with the flat 4 layout expected from Subaru. There's also only one trim level and it only comes with a continuously variable transmission, CVT. If this package doesn't appeal, you may end up looking elsewhere for your next motor, but it's worth giving this Subaru at least a once-over. That CVT Lean-Artronic box takes drive to all four wheels, so it's a grippy car and was the natural choice to take to a classic car event at Sherborne Castle where parking was on a grassy field and rain was threatened. In the end, the rain mostly held off and the field was fit for any car to get going, but you never know. There's nothing worse than waiting hours to be towed out by a tractor because you've left the 4x4 at home. Naturally, the car show had its collection of Subarus, most in rally livery because that's where the Japanese marque made its name thanks to drivers Richard Burns and Colin McRae. The Levorg looks somewhat tamer but is no slouch to drive, despite its figures looking a shade on the slow side for true enthusiasts. When the going gets really tough, there's nothing better to get you out than a CVT box linked to a full 4x4 setup because it never changes gears so never loses traction. Dip the clutch in a manual 4x4 to swap ratios and you risk coming to a halt in really sticky conditions. It also helps that the flat 4 layout of the engine is one that thrives on low revs. Peak torque comes in at only 1,800 RPMs, which is incredibly low for a petrol engine. It was very tempting to go round a few of the Ferraris at the show and tell the owners we had a car with the same type of engine as them due to its horizontally opposed cylinders, but decided we'd rather poke around a few old rally cars from the 60s instead. They are fascinating beasts that endured some hellish trips in the days before carbon fiber and Kevlar made competition cars almost indestructible. 2 days before that show, the Levorg had whisked us to the Cotswolds and the Gloucestershire and Warwickshire Steam Railway, where we had a pleasant time being tugged along restfully. There's something about the rhythm of a steam train and the way it rocks the carriages as they clack over the jointed rails that you just don't find anywhere else. Least of all traveling in a horrendously noisy modern diesel train or in a Subaru with sporty pretensions. That said, the Subaru manages to be quieter than a modern diesel train even if its ride is not as smooth. It's also great at the country road journeys, maybe a bit low to the ground but sure-footed if you have to ease up the bank to squeeze past anyone. One aspect that needs work is the dreadful dashboard ergonomics. The car looks as if someone got a handful of essentials, threw them at a mock-up, then placed them in the finished item wherever they had landed. Particularly cumbersome is accessing trip information, which can pop up in the center of the fascia at the top or in front of the driver. It was interesting to see that over almost 1,700 miles the car had averaged 34.2 mpg. Enthusiasts for safety info on the move will also appreciate Subaru's EyeSight suite of electronic aids that look out for dangers you may have missed. Still a good idea to keep your eyes peeled though.
It might seem like a recipe for disaster, but electric car drivers could soon use the same pedal to accelerate and brake. Nissan claim the device is a revolutionary technology that transforms the way we drive. Their e-pedal is being introduced in the new Leaf model, scheduled for release in September. The new kit will be controlled via a switch, which will turn the accelerator into an e-pedal. This will allow drivers to accelerate, decelerate and stop using just this pedal. Braking suddenly will still require use of the brake pedal, and the pedals will function normally while not in e-pedal mode. But in slow-moving traffic and built-up areas, It could provide a convenient one-pedal driving capability. That's provided you don't get too comfortable and forget the need to brake sharply when called for. The e-pedal will let drivers bring the car to a complete stop even on hills, stay in position, and resume driving instantly. Speed will be controlled by pressing the accelerator as normal. Taking your foot off the accelerator will cause the car to reduce in speed and come to a complete stop eventually. Even on steep inclines, applying the handbrake will be unnecessary while in e-pedal mode. In a written statement, a company spokesman said, "The e-pedal technology represents another key milestone in Nissan's ongoing commitment to bring accessible, advanced driver assistance technologies to the mainstream." Set to make driving safer and more enjoyable, the development of these technologies is part of Nissan Intelligent Mobility, the company's blueprint for transforming how cars are driven, powered and integrated into society. Drivers can cover 90% of their driving needs with the e-pedal, making the process of driving more exciting. In heavy traffic and during city commutes, drivers will greatly reduce the need to shift from one pedal to the other, making your drive simpler and more engaging.
Every Canadian worth their maple-flavored bacon knows of the Berryneck ladies. No, not the ones over on that naughty video site. We're talking about the Canadian alternative rock band who played for several years as an indie label before bursting onto the larger scene with a major record deal in the early 90s. Quirky, talented, and amassing a cult following, BNL went on to break through mainstream success but never really lost that original charming weirdness that so endeared them to legions of fans in the Great White North. Sound familiar? Of course it does. At inception, Subaru peddled very capable sedans and wagons that were, with the kindest descriptor available, totally left-field bizarre weird. The SVX Coupe featured windows within windows, the L'Oreal looked like the box it was delivered in, and those utilizing the rear-facing exterior seats in the bed of a Brad would quickly find themselves using their noggins as a roll bar if the operator failed to keep the thing shiny side up. They were all extremely capable vehicles, though. The company loved to remind us of the beauty of all-wheel drive, building a cult following who swore by, but not often at, their quirky little boxes from Japan. Over the years, and in the name of chasing more widestream success, Subaru has engineered some of the idiosyncrasies out of its cars but has still managed to retain some of that weird charm. Not unlike our favorite band from Scarborough, then. 7 days is the generous amount of time we're given to sample a vehicle from an OEM press fleet. Using the car to shuttle the family around town, run a few errands, and take a jaunt or two on the highway allows us the chance to evaluate the machine on a level not found during a quick test drive. Our tester was a 5-door model in 2.0i Sport trim with the optional technology package, stickering at $29,690 including freight. Subaru has always chosen to stick with a boxer layout for its engine, in which the 4 pistons are laid flat and horizontally opposed rather than standing straight up in a line like the cards at Buckingham Palace. This piston placement allows the engine to sit lower in the car than a traditional motor, contributing to a more favorable center of gravity and better handling. Making 152 horsepower and 145 pounds-ft of torque, the Impreza won't challenge any top-fuel dragsters, but power delivery from its 2.0L engine is very linear and is more than capable of getting out of its own way. Paired with a continuously variable transmission, the car did a reasonable job of simulating actual gear changes thanks to its pair of paddle shifters behind the leather-wrapped steering wheel. A manual transmission is available at this level if buyers choose to forgo an optional technology package. Inside, Subaru designers have engineered a solid effort. Comfortable bucket seats are installed up front, fitted with deep seating surfaces that help support those of us who are long of leg. Durable textured fabric covers the seats in this sport trim, feeling as if it will wear well over the long term. The armrest on the driver's door is pleasingly soft and squishy, like resting your elbow on a fat puppy. Rear seat accommodations are more than sufficient for families with 2 small kiddos, although the space is bereft of USB ports and heating vents. A handy center armrest with dual cup holders swing down from the rear seat back, which can be further flipped and folded in a 60/40 split to expand the already commodious and well-shaped cargo area. What are buyers be giving up if they purchase an Impreza Sans technology package? Externally, not much. But there are a few gee-whiz features in the tech pack that do make life a bit easier during the morning commute. Subaru's quirkily named EyeSight system bundles together a yaffle of safety nannies such as adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, and lane keeping assists. Pre-collision braking and throttle management allow the subby to help mitigate a collision in emergency situations, such as when a delivery truck decides to suddenly cut across 2 lanes of traffic on a busy DVP. Reverse automatic braking looks for objects directly astern and applies the brakes if the driver is about to run over Junior's bicycle he left in the driveway. This is one place in which the Impreza shows off its trademark Subaru weirdness. Most of the forward-facing EyeSight features are handled by twin cameras tucked ahead of the rearview mirror near the brim of the windshield. Whatever the system sees other cars, flying saucers, or Cthulhu, is then displayed on a color screen atop the Impreza's dashboard. Vehicles detected immediately ahead are shown enveloped by a yellow beam of light emanating from a digital representation of the very car you are driving, bringing to mind Captain Picard snagging a Romulan warbird using the tractor beam on his Enterprise D. One can muse about the real-world implications of a machine suddenly taking over braking duties from its operator. But EyeSight is a wonderful party trick and a glorious throwback to the days when nobody out-weirded Subaru. This same color screen can be cycled through to display an array of equally strange information, such as the vehicle's current level of incline. Cementing its dedication to keeping just a bit of quirk, the button for disabling the Impreza's lane keeping system is on the roof. Naturally, this mid-range Impreza has standard features which are found on plenty of other compact 5-door hatchbacks, such as heated seats, with power adjustments for the driver, and a steering wheel which adjusts for reach and brake. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are present and accounted for on all models, but Sirius XM satellite radio doesn't appear until this sport trim. Even here, Subaru chooses to do the mundane and expected in just a slightly different way. For example, in a world where most heated seats are controlled by virtual buttons, the boffins at Subaru have seen fit to bestow actual switches in the Impreza. Thank you. This means the heating elements will not turn themselves off when drivers stop the car and nip into Tim Hortons for a double-double. Over 295 kilometers of driving primarily on rural roads, the 2017 Subaru Impreza 2.0i Sport burned 24.4 L of regular fuel, returning an agreeable 8.3 L/100 kilometers. Transport Canada rates manual transmission Impreza sedans at 10.0/7.7 on the city highway cycles, while CVT-equipped models are rated at 8.3/6.4 for the same measures. Yes, for once, the stick shift is rated significantly worse on fuel than its automatic brethren. Blame, or credit, the CVT and its propensity to prioritize economy over performance for this oddity. What would I change about this is 2017 Subaru Impreza 5-door. As always, carping about power tops the list. A total of 152 of the finest Pleiades horsepower is a good start, but a bump to an even 200 would do wonders for this machine. I recognize the technological limitations of offering EyeSight with a manual transmission, of course, but that doesn't stop this author from wishing it were possible to spec an Impreza in that manner. Adding USB ports to the rear seat area should also be a priority, for the exploding Galaxy is a cheap way to keep devices charged and incessant. Are we there yet? Queries. What are the chances of this new Impreza grabbing a share of the compact car market? Pretty good, methinks. The 2017 model lays down an opening bid of $19,995 plus freight for its convenience trim, coming standard with all-wheel drive and air conditioning. From there, It is a $1,900 walk to the touring trim, primarily adding alloy rims and heated front seats, plus a heating grid for the front wipers. Sirius XM radio and a jumbo infotainment screen don't appear until the $24,395 Sport model, while the Sportec trim adds snazzy 18-inch rims on a sportier suspension and leather seats for the princely sum of $28,595. All trims are available as either a 4-door sedan or the 5-door hatchback Boda style seen here, with the extra cargo space commanding a $900 premium. It's worth the cash. The technology package is a $2,800 option on Sport models and a $1,500 option on Sportec models. Until the gods of technology smile down upon us and see fit to bestow eyesight with the ability to comprehend the stick shift, our choice is the 5-door Sport trim with a manual transmission. Stickered at $25,295, it contains all the features of our test car save for eyesight and a proximity key with push-button start. This newest Impreza, with its mainstream styling and comfortable interior resting on new global architecture, thankfully retains some of that quirky goodness for which Subaru earned its name. Appealing to the masses while still preserving some of its trademark work? Pinch me.